welcome to another episode of Spoiled. It's a very special episode today. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, and...
I'm Tiffany, or Grand Tiff Tarkin, or also Tiff-tastic.
Ooh, she likes to pull that one out of her bag of tricks every once in a while. Hey, today is a very special day because normally we are reviewing things like movies, mostly movies, and today we're doing something totally different. We're reviewing a TV show.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know, it's completely different than what we normally do, right? But it was a very special TV show, actually, because we are big fans
Yes.
of the show The Flash, and of course...
Supergirl.
And even though they're on different networks, something really cool happened today. What happened today, Tiff?
They crossed over, and we had a little bit of Flash with our Supergirl, and we had Supergirl with her Flash.
It was like a Reese's peanut butter cup of superheroes, ladies and gentlemen. It was good. And, it was something that when Supergirl started this year, they're both produced by Berlanti, who produces both Arrow and The Flash, and now Supergirl.
All the superhero funness.
Yes, and a bunch of DC properties, which we're DC type of people around here. We love Marvel too, but hey, we're on the DC kick. And so the thing is that when they started the show Supergirl, there was always the question, because Flash and Arrow had crossed over, would we get the crossover episode between the Flash and Supergirl? And ladies and gentlemen, I honestly, Tiffany, I did not think that it would happen this soon.
I didn't either, and I also didn't expect it to be as amazing as it was.
Oh my goodness. I hope you watch it. If you haven't watched it, try to watch it. We're going to talk about some spoilers today, some stuff that happened in the episode. And so if you're trying to save that for later, if you're trying to be spoiler free, if you watch the shows and you haven't gotten around to it.
Save this for later then.
Come back to this, save this video for later, and come back because we are going to jump into the superhero goodness that is the Flash Supergirl crossover. Now, like I said, I didn't think it was going to happen this soon. I figured that they'd let Supergirl go a couple seasons, maybe. Maybe sometime in season 2, if it were to happen at all. Because you don't get that very often, where you get a crossover episode between two networks. Mm-hmm. But thank you, sweet baby Jesus, that thank you, Tom Cruise, thank you, Oprah Winfrey, whoever was responsible for this. Thank you, because oh man, this episode.
He had to pause it for laughter, for awesomeness, for just sheer... I can't believe that this happened today.
Yes, it had me a little times. It had me a little verklempt. The family had to speak amongst themselves, if you know what I mean.
Well, he laughed his butt off.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so where do we start? The show actually started off pretty normal. I mean, we were about 10 minutes into it, and we hadn't seen any Flash yet, and so...
Well, also, they've been building up the last 4 to 5 weeks about Siobhan and who she becomes, so they've been kind of building that. That's been in the foreground, so that was kind of leading up to, oh yeah, by the way.
Yeah. So if you don't watch the show, we'll just kind of fill you in. Siobhan is a character that has been bumping heads with Kara, who is Supergirl, been bumping heads with Kat, who is Supergirl's boss, and so this week she became a full-on villain, a Superman villain, actually, known as the Silver Banshee. Now, I will say this about Supergirl. I have liked Supergirl. I've enjoyed Supergirl.
Didn't think he was going to.
My only complaint about Supergirl, it's actually gotten better as the season has gone on. It's definitely a show worth watching, I feel.
Yes.
But my only complaint is that if Superman is in this world, which he is, he never shows up. I mean, he showed up a couple times.
They've shown him in shadow, where you don't see his face, so you don't see who's playing him.
Yeah, but some of the things that Supergirl has dealt with...
Could have used her cousin.
Yeah, Superman should have been there. I mean, they got Kryptonians running all around, doing evil things and stuff, these evil Kryptonians, and you gonna tell me Superman never shows up?
No, that's okay. You can handle it by yourself. You gotta learn somehow.
Yeah, every once in a while they share like a little instant messenger thing on the computer. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about all that. I'm just saying Silver Banshee is a Superman, mostly a Superman villain, okay? And they've kind of borrowed from that. There's been a couple
episodes with the red kryptonite, also with that plant thing that attached to it.
Oh yeah, they did a really cool episode. It was originally a comic called For the Man Who Has Everything. And then it was also done on the Justice League cartoon, which was also for the man who has everything. It was a story that this gift was given to Superman to basically kind of take Superman out. This thing attaches to his chest, and it basically controls his mind, gives him every dream or wish that he thinks he could have.
But to the world, it looks like they're in a coma. They're not awake. They're just laying there.
Yeah. And so they did that in Supergirl. They did that story in Supergirl, and it was for the girl who has everything. And so there's just been different things like that.
But they've done it tastefully to where it doesn't be like, oh, that's Superman's only. I mean, they did it very well.
Yeah, they did the Bizarro episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been getting all that. But let's get to this episode. So Supergirl is busy trying to figure out a way to fight this character. This character is she's the Silver Band. She's just now discovering her powers. She does not like Kara. She doesn't know that Kara is Supergirl, but she comes to where Kara works at Catco, and she has a scream that the Silver Banshee has that
it's like a supersonic.
It's like a
scream
supersonic
almost.
scream, and it throws Kara out the window. Well, we all know Kara's Supergirl, so we're not worried about her.
But it caused her to pass out because she wasn't used to the sonic blast to her eardrums.
Yes. But then suddenly, who saves her before she has a chance to fly away? The Flash. Now, the one thing is, I wish that they had done a little bit better of a job. I will say a negative. I wish they had done a little bit better of a job. And the only reason I'm saying this is because this is probably the only negative thing that you will hear me say about this episode. And that is, I wish that they had done a little better job coordinating.
Building it up.
Well, coordinating the two shows so that they matched. Because when the Flash ended last week, it did not end with Barry having the tachyon
particle accelerator
thing that was that helped him to leap through the multiverse. It just ended. They're all there. They're all just doing their thing. So there was no like, hey, the Flash disappeared.
But
the Flash goes off. Where did he go? Oh, hey, he's on Supergirl.
Tomorrow's
next week.
Flash episode might be like previously or what happened earlier in the month or the week.
Yeah,
or the day.
we won't know that.
Until
But
tomorrow.
I hope they try to retro it or something. I mean, but it's kind of hard because the Flash comes on Tuesdays. Supergirl's on Mondays. So it is what it is, right? But now, let's get to the good stuff. Because now they discover each other. Yes, and
it was done adorably and awesome, and it was just...
I'm telling you, they got a little crush on each other. Supergirl is thinking it's pretty cool to have a superhero friend.
Another superhero that goes through the same things that she does. That she's not by herself.
But one thing they kind of confirmed with this, and I was really kind of disappointed with it too, is because we love the Flash. Okay, I love the Flash. I'm a little
Grant Gustin is the epitome of Flash. We thank you so much, Grant.
Yes, Grant, you are the man. You just rock that, and I would love to see that Flash on the big screen.
So much so that I can't give Ezra Miller the chance that he probably deserves for
Poor
Justice
Ezra
League
Miller.
because I only see Grant Gustin in that role. I think that he should go from TV to the big screen and he would do fine.
Poor Ezra Miller. They have such an uphill battle to fight to get that poor guy, because they probably when they started casting the DC cinematic universe, they probably had no idea that the Flash was going to be as good as it was, and it has just won everybody over. And so now I want to give Ezra Miller a fighting chance.
But if he doesn't, you could always take Grant Gustin and be like, oh, look, we got one from another Earth, so we can use him.
But what they kind of confirmed was that Superman does not exist in Grant's world.
A lot of people don't exist in his world.
I mean, in Grant's world, he doesn't know about Superman, Supergirl, a lot of the different heroes there.
But she doesn't know about Green Arrow. She doesn't know about half.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
people
but when he comes to Supergirl's world, she, like you said, she doesn't know about Green Arrow. She doesn't know about the Flash. So there is no Flash in
She's like, who
their
now?
world. So I don't know how much I feel about that. Because
but he also explained that there's different Earths and they all vibrate at different.
Yeah, I know. I get them. It's the multiverse, and I get it. But you always kind of it just means that really what it means is we're not looking at prime worlds. That's a nerd term for the world where all those superheroes live together in the same universe and are together. We're looking at different worlds. So really, even Grant's world, the Flash's world that we're watching, that means that's really not Earth 1.
But you also
That's
saw,
just one of the Earths.
in
you
his
know.
in his show though. You saw Earth 2 was almost like a backwards version of his Earth 1, and so it's like there's different.
Yeah. So,
They're taking
but
liberties
man,
with
they're
it.
having so much fun. I mean, they're trying to fight the bad guys or the bad girls together, I should say, and they're discovering each other's powers. They're talking about stuff, and then this awesome moment happened. Two awesome moments happened
There was
that
many.
I just about fell off the couch at, ladies and gentlemen, because they're first of all they're sitting there talking, and I love a show that has the ability to talk tongue in cheek about itself, kind of breaks the
Make
fourth
fun of
wall a little
itself.
bit. And so Grant, not in the Flash costume, just as Barry Allen, is standing there with Jimmy Olsen and Kara and
The Toy Man's son.
Win shot, yeah. And they're all standing there, and they're in Kat's office, and Kat says something to the effect that, like,
She said you are the attractive group.
you are the attractive non
Menacing or
non-menacing or something like that. Like they weren't a threat, non-threatening. You're the attractive. You look like you're the attractive, non-threatening, multi.
faceted.
Well, multi. What's the word I'm looking for? Multiracial cast of a CW show.
Which he lost it and had to pause it for 10 minutes while he laughed.
My stomach was
hysterically.
hurting so bad just to hear that, because obviously the Flash is on the CW network, and so the fact that they just kind of put that in there.
Plus, the funny thing
was
is
awesome.
he's not a huge Cat Grant fan, even though it is Han Solo's wife in real
Yes,
life.
it's Harrison Ford's wife. You
But-
got to give her that, but.
He's not a huge fan, and
'Cause
I
I'm
think
a
this kind
purist.
of brought her back up and thought that her funny lines just kind of redeemed her a little.
I'm a purist. I grew up with a Cat Grant in the comics who worked at the Daily Planet, and I know that this is supposed to be like a continuation of that story. But so she delivers that line about the CW that they look, and they did. They were just standing there, just look. They had that look to them, and stuff like that. They were just on the good looking, exactly that. And so. But then she delivers a line that goes back a ways, because then she's talking about the Flash, they haven't named it yet, and so since the Flash is new here, they have this
They said a new
this picture.
speedster is here.
Yes, they got this picture of him saving
It's just
Kara.
a red streak.
Yeah, it's just a red streak, and so she's like, well, now I need to come up with a name for this person, and I was thinking about the Whoosh. No. I was thinking maybe the red streak or something like that, and then she says,
No.
or the Blur, which,
He paused again to laugh hysterically.
hey, I'm a Superman fan. I watched Smallville. I actually just completed my DVD set of all 10 seasons.
So we can introduce our boys to it.
Yes, of Smallville, and I just love that, because on Smallville, if you're not familiar with Smallville. On Smallville, it's the story of Clark Kent growing up to be Superman over a 10-season period. And when he's starting to discover his powers, at first, all he can do is run really fast. He's actually scared of heights. He can't fly. He's discovering his powers as he
Little
goes.
by little.
And one of the things they call him, because he wears a red jacket all the time with a blue shirt, and blue jeans, so he looks like a red-blue blur. And that's what they called him for a couple seasons, the red-blue blur. And then they just kind of shortened it down to the Blur. And now you got Cat Grant
With Supergirl and the Flash.
calling him the Blur, and just like, we're going to call him the Blur.
But the
That's
look
what we're
on
gonna
his
call him.
face was priceless. He's like, every name she came up with, he's like, no. And he's like, you know what? I kind of like the Flash. How about the Flash? She's like, no, the Blur.
Nah. So, what can I say about this episode? This episode had a lot of comedy to it.
Yes.
And then the fighting scenes between the Silver Banshee, who had teamed up with Livewire, and then you got those two going up against the Flash and Supergirl, and it was probably some of the best computer graphics, some of the
For a
best
TV show.
graphics that we've seen from Supergirl, from the show.
Well, that and the Flash, because he's got a lot of animation.
Yeah, but everything on this Flash it looks pretty good, but every once in a while the Supergirl stuff looks a little too CGI, like you could tell it was made on a computer. But not that, man, this was so great. I mean, at one point they had they just had all kinds of stuff. They had the Flash running around Livewire and thought that, I can give her a jolt of lightning.
But it just charged her.
That just charges her up, man. And
my favorite is when Supergirl actually blew the cold breath, and he's got his hands going like tornadoes to try to freeze him back. And
it was just epic. I mean, for a TV show.
Or that one time when they're running and he's running like this and she's flying up next to him. It was amazing.
That was an awesome just little scene there. I mean, he's running to the scene of the crime. She's flying right there next to him.
Maybe a 4-second scene, but it was just like
an
orgasm.
So good. So good. So good. So good. To quote was it Justin Timberlake? So good.
So good.
So good. So good.
We love you too, Timberlake.
Yes. So that all happened, and then Supergirl's been having this problem because a couple episodes ago she was infected with red kryptonite,
like Superman.
Yes, and this caused her to do some things that, as usual with red kryptonite, are not so stellar. But I got to say quick. I know we're not reviewing that episode, but that episode was a great callback to Superman 3, where
under the influence.
Superman is under the influence of, basically, it might as well be red kryptonite, but it's green, but they get the formula wrong, with Richard Pryor. Mm-hmm. And he gets drunk, and he's at a bar, and he turns over some bar peanuts, and he's like flicking them at the bottles of booze behind the counter, and Supergirl does the exact same thing. I really love these. I've been out of my mind these last couple times.
But in doing that, though, she lost some credibility in the sight of the people, because when she was under the influence, she did things that were not like her. She was rude, sarcastic, she was cocky.
Yes.
And because of that, she's been struggling the last episode or two, still trying to be Supergirl, still trying to save and help people. She even joked in the episode saying, I even helped a family put an IKEA piece together. That wasn't enough. But it was something that she's been struggling with, that it was a really cool point where her and Barry could actually talk, and he said, I've been there. And so they had a really cool moment even there as like superheroes when you fall from the limelight. How do you come back from that? How do you deal with it, even though, you're half alien, but you're still half human?
Yeah. So it was great because we're not going to get into spoilers for another movie that we saw this weekend that we're going to do a spoiler review for. I don't know,
Very
Batman
soon.
versus Superman. But she does something at the end where she flies up, and because Livewire is going to blast a helicopter
which would
with
kill
electricity.
A ton of people on the
she
ground.
flies up. She puts herself in harm's way and takes the blast and falls to the ground. And all the people around, well, that was enough for them. They realized, hey,
she was willing to die for us.
She was willing to die for us. And they all, I love that the people, just the common people then.
There was like 30 people that just came around her and tried to stop them, saying, don't kill her.
Yeah. I mean, they're going up against two supervillains.
And Livewire even had her attitude. She's like, you're willing to die for her?
Yep.
Okay.
So they're like, you're willing to die? All right. And she's getting ready to kill her, fry everybody.
She was raising up on her own electricity.
I love it too, because then some real heroes, some firemen, end up spraying her with a hose, short circuits her,
shocks
Banshee, and they're able to get taken away. And then her and Barry have.
But to even have a cool fireman like help her up and say it's our turn to help save you.
That was just a great ending. And then there was this little love triangle thing where they've been trying to get Kara and Jimmy Olsen together.
I'm okay with it. He struggles with it.
and please understand, this is not a racial thing at all. I just don't like those two characters together. I'm a Jimmy Olsen kind of purist kind of thing. I don't have a problem with different races playing different characters. I mean, Man of Steel, Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White
is awesome.
Awesome. I don't have a problem with that. What I kind of have a problem with is that they kind of took the whitest white kid in the entire DC
nerdy
universe.
Freckles,
nerdy, redhead, freckles, bow tie, plaid, whatever. And they made him this very suave, very cool.
Six-pack, bald.
African-American male. It's hard for me to buy that that's Jimmy Olsen, right?
He's got Jimmy swagger.
Yeah, and so I guess for me, Kara is more kind of, even though she's Supergirl, she's more this nerdy chick.
She is.
You know what I mean? And so
when she puts the glasses on, she almost becomes that character too, just because of the way that she's got to be in front of Cat Grant and everybody else.
Yeah, so it's not. It's not like I said, the racial thing. I could care less about that. I couldn't care less about that, I should say. Thank you, Weird Al, for correcting me. My
Could
word
I care
crimes.
less? Which means you do
Yes.
care.
Thank
At
you.
least a little.
At least a little. But no, I don't see their personalities actually meshing. To me, sometimes that feels a little forced, like they're trying to push them together. Whatever. But I overlook all of that. It ended on a great note because her and, they can't have Superman and the Flash have a race, right? Like in the classic comics. So they have Supergirl and the Flash to help him get out of this universe and back to his. They have to race, and she has to catapult him
into the breach.
Into the breach. Yep, into the breach. And so then he's just gone. And then she has a kind of a moment there at the end with.
She has the kahunas to stand up and actually make the first move.
Yep, and that's scary when your woman has kahunas. Just saying. But
it's super kahunas.
But hey, you know what? What are you going to do? And so it ends on this kind of cliffhanger kind of deal because the evil Kryptonians are controlling, it looks like, all the people and kind of setting forth their plan that's been in the works this whole season.
So she finally gets a chance to step up, and she's like confused herself.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Flash Supergirl crossover Reese's Peanut Butter Cup episode, man.
Peanut butter in my chocolate.
Oh, it was good. It was so good. And I know I loved it.
Oh, I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10.
I give it more than 10 if I can. Cause
You can't. No. 10 is the highest number.
Hey, I like what...
Unless these amps go to 11.
I actually like what they've done with Supergirl, like when she started not knowing if we were going to like her as well as we have.
Yeah.
But then Grant Gustin, I love him in The Flash as much as I love Henry Cavill as Superman. It's just... They fit, and I just hope this continues on because it's just awesome.
But hey, did you see this episode? Did you watch this episode along with us tonight? What did you think? Did you think, hey, that was awesome? Did you geek out when Cat Grant said those things about the CW and about
Did you even catch them?
The blur? Did you catch that? Were you watching for stuff like that? Or maybe you say, you know what? One, I don't care about Supergirl. I don't watch that show. And maybe you have a reason for that. Or maybe you were like, yeah, I watched this episode because I like The Flash and I didn't care for any of it. Whatever your comments are, we would love to know what your comments are.
We can tell them where they're wrong. Okay.
Yeah. We can tell you. We can put the smack down. I told you on our Batman versus Superman review that... It's on. It's Enosh and Tiffanie against the internet, apparently, this week. Now, we're in a combative kind of mood, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, what did you think of this episode? Please leave your comment down in the comment section. Let us know. Tell us what your thoughts are. We'd like to have a conversation with you. We answer those comments. We are not the type of channel that just puts the comment box down there and just kind of ignores it and lets you guys all hash it out. We jump right there into the mix with you and kind of give our opinions too and thank you for leaving a comment. Hey, while you're here, if you like this episode, why don't you give us a thumbs up? All right, let us know that you like the episode. And then also, hey, you're here anyways. Maybe you just found us. And, I don't know, you could maybe click subscribe, maybe. I mean, no big whoop. I'm not going to pressure you.
We've got some fun videos all down there.
We do. We got some fun stuff going on here at the channel, okay? It's a variety of stuff. And now apparently we do TV reviews too. So
when they're awesome enough, so keep it up.
Yeah, so as long as we see some awesome TV. You hear that, TV? It's on you now.
Challenge accepted.
Hey, so thank you for joining us here for this episode of Spoiled TV Reviews.
That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is. And we will see you next time. I'm Enosh Fett. I'm Enosh, a.k.a. Enosh Fett. Sometimes I go by Enosh, and sometimes I don't. And, of course, my co-host...
Grant Tiff Tarkin, or Tiff-tastic, or you can just call me Tiff.
And I just call her Babe. That's all. All right? So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on Spoiled.